The next one I'm doing from your homework is number 7, and it says a square is altered so that one dimension is increased by 5 inches and the other dimension is decreased by 2 inches. If the area of the resulting rectangle, because remember now you would have a rectangle if the sides were increased or decreased by different numbers, is 98 square inches, excuse me, find the area of the original square. Okay, so a picture can always help. So here's your square. I'm going to put the markings on to note that we have a square. You don't have to do that. Okay, and I'm going to call those X. And so we're doing some things to these dimensions. This is not drawn to scale. To make, I guess I should technically go like this, I suppose, and say that we have a rectangle. Okay, so again, we're saying we are increasing one of the sides by 5 inches. So I'm going to take this one and say I'm adding 5 inches to it. So this is going to become X plus 5. The other dimension, I know, look, this is not drawn to scale at all. This is just for a visual, is decreased by 2. So I would take X and subtract 2. So again, X was our original square side. It said you're increasing one of the sides by 5, so X plus 5, and you're decreasing the other by 2. If the area of the resulting triangle, of the resulting rectangle, that's this one here. So we know this area is 98 square inches. Find the area of the original square. So we actually have to figure out what X is before we can figure out the area. And we have to work with the information that we have. Of course, my pen died. So we have to work off of this new rectangle. And we know the area of a rectangle is length times width. What's the area of this rectangle? 98 square inches. One of the dimensions is X plus 5. The other dimension is X minus 2. You're going to FOIL the right-hand side. You're going to get X squared minus 2X plus 5X. That's going to give you a positive 3X. 5 times a negative 2 is a negative 10. Just like in the last problem, you want to get everything to one side. So you're going to subtract 98 from both sides. You're going to end up with a negative 108 right there. So again, you could do the quadratic formula. You could do completing the square. You could try to factor. You could not do the square root approach because you have that middle term. This does factor, and I think that's quicker than quadratic formula or completing the square. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 108 and add to 3. And those two numbers are positive 12 and negative 9. Again, using the zero product property, you take each piece, set it equal to 0, and solve for X. Whoops, I did that one in my head, sorry. X minus 9, so I get X equals 9 and X equals negative 12. Again, we're talking about a word problem. We can't have a negative dimension, so negative 12 will get thrown out. We just found that X is 9, but let's go back and make sure we answer the question. It said find the area of the original square. So here's your original square. We know to find the area of a square, it's side squared, or in our case, X squared. We found that X was 9, so we are squaring 9. Our answer is 81 inches squared. So that's your actual answer to the problem.